Didn't even ask me what I wanted. You make dumb assumptions. Clearly not your forte. Clearly don't be.
Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. I know I haven't been posting a lot. The only reason I'm here is because I received a notification that said I should post at least once a week. So it actually motivated me and made me feel like, you know what, it's time for me to cut back. Right now, my setup is a little bit makeshift because my toddler has taken apart my items and I have no idea what certain stuff is. So I'm trying my best today. Hopefully the video is not too shaky. So if you're new here, my name is Tanya. I am 36 years old. I'm originally from New York, but I reside in Broward County, Florida. I have 3 children. I have an 18-year-old, a 14-year-old, and a 2-year-old. That's my little princess. I am an MSW, that's a Master's in Social Work. So I am a trained therapist. However, I do not practice one-on-one or clinical therapy because that is not my ministry. However, I do tend to be a little insightful among certain things through personal experience and through professional training. I am currently a doctoral scholar and I am pursuing my doctorate in social work and executive leadership. I'm talking a little funny right now because I have Invisalign. Invisalign was on my list of self-improvements. So I got it earlier this year, and hopefully by the end of this year, I should have some straighter teeth. This is a reminder, wear your retainer. So if you've ever had braces, wear your retainers. So I just wanted to check in with you. Like, moving forward, I'm going to try to upload videos every Sunday, at least once a week, because my life is just a little bit hectic. Like, I'm employed full time. I run bluebonnetgang.com, which is my website where I sell goods. I have my children's activities. I have homework. I have projects, and currently I'm working on my capstone project, which is a 100-page paper, which is necessary to meet the fulfillment of my doctoral degree. So very busy lady, very exhausted. Recently I've been on this hiatus because I've been experiencing moral injury. So moral injury is when you are in spaces or in a space, usually at work, where you are engaged in activity that just goes against your morals, goes against your ethics. But of course, we need to make a living, so we can't always dictate how things are ran in the spaces that we occupied. So you know, you tend to get an emotional connection or just a reaction to the things that you are obligated to do. So that's something that has occurred to me, as well as compassion fatigue. Now, I'm an empath, and as an empath, you tend to take on more than you need to, or take on things that really do not belong to you. Because we're always feeling, like, I feel, especially women, like we love saying we feel, like I feel this, I feel like that. We tend to base our actions and emotions, and that is overwhelming. So I just needed a break. I needed some time to pour back into me. I made some changes where I like to do things that make my life a little bit easier for me. So recently I cut my hair lower. It was already short, but I cut it lower because it's just easy. It's just brush and go. I cut out any extra things that's just a hassle. Like, I do not overextend myself. I just took some time and just pour back more into me. Sometimes it's as simple as not being a listening ear, because in most times I serve as a listening ear for a lot of people, but sometimes it gets overwhelming, and it's important to understand when that happens for you to be able to pull back. I am a healing codependent. So I grew up in a family where my mother was codependent, my father was narcissistic. It wasn't something that I knew growing up. It was something that I was able to reflect in my adulthood based on my relationships and friendships with other people and how I interacted with people. That was something I learned. Recently, I was having a conversation with one of my siblings, and one of the things that we identified was, amongst my mother's children, we are split into 2 groups. We are split into the empaths, and we are split into the narcissistic ones. So in understanding that, it has helped me understand how I've navigated the world. In navigating the world, I've tend to overextend myself. I've tend to want to fix things. I've tend to want to help because why? I have an abandonment wound and I want to feel needed. So most people with abandonment wounds love feeling that they are needed in people's lives, and it makes us stay in places where we do not belong longer than necessary. So similarly to how people highlight how narcissistic people are negative and toxic, you can be toxic as an empath. You could be toxic as a codependent as well. The toxicity comes from identifying and choosing people that you feel need you in order for them to keep you around because you are afraid of being abandoned. That leads to you staying in spaces longer where you yourself are subjected to abuse, but because you feel that you can fix them, you can help, you stay a little longer than necessary, and then you blame them for their actions and the acts that they commit against you. However, you still need to take a little bit of accountability in the fact that you're picking people from a place of wanting to be needed, and that's not healthy. So one of the things that I worked on in the past few years, I will say my healing process begins at 32. That was when my last relationship ended, and it was a narcissistic relationship, and I was very codependent and he was narcissistic. And what ended up happening in that relationship ultimately, like, it just couldn't work. It's exhausting. When you try to help somebody or you make excuses for people all the time, and you're suffering from that cognitive dissonance, like, you will tire yourself out. You will give and give and give until you have nothing left. So at some point, it's between you and them, and you have to be able to pick yourself. So that's what's important about understanding when it's time to pick yourself up. A lot of us tend to wait till our hearts get broken, tend to wait until we obtain some type of injury that is so difficult to bear that it forces us to walk away. Like, there's a saying, like, most people don't get up from the table until they're full. And most of us do that. We subject ourselves to a certain level of abuse where it's so heavy that we have no other choice to walk away. I'm here to tell you, it's okay to walk away at the first sign of exhaustion. It's okay to walk away at the first sign of confusion. It's okay to walk away when you realize someone is trying to use pity and guilt to make you feel sorry for them, when they have had a family before they met you, when they have had an entire life before they met you, and they are not relying on those individuals, and they're putting all of this burden to fix them on you. It's okay to walk away. So some of the things that has helped me with walking away has been pouring into myself. So there's a certain way that I treat myself. So there's a certain things that I do for myself. I take myself out all the time. I used to wait for people to do things for me. Like, I used to wait for someone to surprise me. I used to wait for someone to invite me out. I used to wait for someone to buy me something that I knew I really wanted, even though I could afford it myself. I wanted to be able to receive from people in the same capacity in which I gave. And I would wait and wait and wait for that. However, what I realize is, it really starts with you. When you start treating yourself in the manner in which you want to receive treatment, it changes your mindset, because you then get accustomed to receiving things from yourself. So that becomes your standard in which you receive. So when you take yourself out, when you buy yourself things, when you dress how you want to dress, when you carry yourself in the manner you want to carry, when you invest in yourself, whether it be your education, whether it's a new skill that you want to learn, whether it's your emotional health or you want to go to therapy. If you get a new job, you remove yourself from toxic environments, you remove yourself from toxic friendships, you remove yourself from toxic relationships. When you start showing up for yourself the way you show up for everybody else, it unlocks a new level of insight within you that you realize This is what I deserve. You then start seeing your value. You then start seeing your self-worth because you understand that you deserve these things and you are qualified to receive them. So that when people give you things, you're less likely to push away people who are willing to give you those things and trade them for those people who are taken from you, because it's then stroking your ego because now you feel needed. So when you show up for yourself and you then are able to see how well you make yourself feel, you then understand that, hey, if I'm making myself feel this good, this is how I make other people feel. And if you're a person who are prone to narcissistic relationships and you attract narcissistic relationships, during those initial phases of love bombing, they mirror back to you what they see from you. So when you fall in love with narcissistic people, you're really falling in love with yourself because they're demonstrating to you those characteristics that they see in you, that they admire, and that they understand are good characteristics. So just think about that. So when you meet a narcissist, you fall in love with yourself over and over and over again. And then for the rest of the relationship, you chase that version of them that they created because you love that version so much. That is how much you should be loving yourself absent of anyone's influence. Because that's a demonstration that you really do love yourself. You do love your those prime qualities that you possess. That is your value. Those same characteristics that they demonstrated to you is your value. So it's up to us for us to identify our value, understand our value, accept our value, and not allow anyone to mishandle us. Not allow yourself to be in spaces that don't deserve you, who haven't earned you, and not allow yourself to be utilized as a tool for someone else's progress. For you to be able to show up first for yourself, for you not to depend on anybody to come along and save you. A lot of us codependents and empathetic people are waiting for this fairy tale, especially if you've endured trauma, of someone coming along and fixing your life and saving you. It's okay to understand you may never get that happy ending. You may never get that fairy tale. Not for you to walk around pessimistic, but just understand that it's not up to anyone else to save you. It is up to you to give yourself the life that you deserve. And until you're able to give yourself the life that you deserve, you're never going to be able to attract that peaceful, happy, generous, cooperative spirit or entity that you're looking for, because you are holding on to too much toxicity by looking to be needed, by looking to be wanted, by looking to be used as a tool instead of being an experience that someone enjoy. So that's the end of my little TED Talk. I hope you enjoyed this video. I'm going to try to, I guess I want to say by 12 p.m. on Sunday, I'm going to try to upload a new video. If there anything that you'd like me to discuss, you can put them in the chat down below. I've been dating, so given all of society's insight regarding just the dynamics between men and women, I have some new insight. So if there's anything that you would like to discuss, anything like regarding like mental health, work related, like your professional career, your education, your kids, just say, or you just want to chit chat about something, let me know. Drop it in the chat below, and I will talk to you later. Bye.